Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 Local News for Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. The Black Rock fire continues to be active, but no update has been provided since Monday afternoon. In the Black Rock campground area of Joshua Tree National Park, the fire is still officially reported at 72 acres with 80% containment. Fire control is being handled by the National Park Service and the Bureau of Land Management. Rangers told Z107.7 that all communication must be approved through federal channels, which is one of the reasons for slow communication regarding the status of the wildfire. The area of the fire remains closed to the public as of yesterday afternoon. As we receive more details on the status and cause of the Black Rock Campground fire, we'll keep you informed on Z107.7. Last night, the Twentynine Palms City Council met to discuss funding research and outreach for a possible 2026 tax measure. Reporter Heather Clisby was there.
The Twentynine Palms City Council gathered last evening to discuss a single topic, the possibility of an increased sales tax in the new year. Presenting a financial reality that painted an unsettling picture, City Manager Stone James presented to Council a situation familiar to anyone who buys anything. Costs are rising while revenue has gone flat, putting city services at risk. James cited an example from the city's beloved animal shelter, Palms and Paws, that recently slashed adoption costs for their animals. As a result, 32 pets were adopted out in a mere 2 weeks, an unusually swift success rate for the organization. Our community is price sensitive, said James, but those fee cuts then have to be absorbed by the general fund. Citing the sales tax of surrounding communities, James noted that the average state sales tax rate is 8.84%, while the average regional sales tax rate is 8.75%. Twentynine Palms currently has a 7.75% sales tax rate, while Yucca Valley has an 8.75% rate. A proposed increase of 1% would bring in a much-needed boost to the city budget to keep services such as road maintenance, law enforcement, youth programs, parks, and funding for a new animal shelter in good standing. James asked the council for authorization to hire Probloski Research to conduct a community survey about the situation. He also asked to hire Lou Edwards Group, an outreach consultant. Finally, he requested up to $25,000 for community outreach and education. When Councilmember Octavius Scott expressed skepticism about the cost for another community survey, Councilmember Daniel Mintz offered the insight he gained from attending a Cal City session called Pass a Local Tax Measure in Today's Political Environment.
If you don't do a survey to make sure the community wants to even pass this, then you're wasting your time and money. So really what we're talking about here is getting what they want, but also the feeling if they want us to even entertain passing a tax, right? Is that right?
That is correct.
That's correct.
Other than Councilmember April Ramirez requesting the city hire outreach consultant Clifford Moss instead of the Lou Edwards Group, Council approved James' request for all three elements, and a community survey will likely launch in early 2026. Community Development Director Keith Gardner ended the meeting with some welcome housing news. So far this year, the city has issued building permits for 29 single-family homes, 5 for multifamily homes, and 5 for additional dwelling units, with another 22 permits in review, a much higher rate than the previous 3 years. Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Heather Clisby.
The Yucca Valley Planning Commission met last night with a focus on flora. Online news editor Robert Hayden has the recap.
Native plants covered the agenda at Tuesday night's Yucca Valley Planning Commission. First up was a short update on Assembly Bill 1089, which would have amended the Western Joshua Tree Conservation Act with some changes that would have streamlined approvals for commercial industrial projects. It would have also allowed for the removal of Joshua trees within 100 feet of a house in a high fire hazard zone. Governor Gavin Newsom vetoed the bill, saying it undermined the original act. As this was just an update on the bill that is no longer moving forward, the only thing the commission could do is file the report and express frustrations with the governor's veto. The commission then took a look at the native plant permit review procedure. Normally, these are passed by the commission through the consent agenda. However, since most of the native plant permits aren't changing anything in the landscape, it adds unnecessary time and bureaucratic layers to projects. Here's Associate Town Planner Jared Jerome.
So our recommendation is for those applications that don't have any removals, no transplants, no trims, that we keep those at the staff level, both to remove some burden from the Planning Commission agenda, but also to streamline the permitting process so they don't have to wait 2 to 4 weeks to get their permit issued.
Jerome then updated the commission with the land development report. Commissioner Thomas asked about the Star Cafe. Jerome said that town staff hadn't heard from them in a bit and only one interior wall had been inspected. Starbucks had planned to break ground in September. However, recent shakeups with the corporation may have stalled that. Walmart, Sun Mesa Mini Storage, and Dutch Bros are all currently going through the CEQA process. For closing comments, the commission again expressed frustration with the vetoed assembly bill. Here's Commissioner Henderson.
What comes out of Sacramento and the governor's directives are disappointing for our town. It's a financial kick to an area that doesn't deserve to be financially kicked.
Commissioner Thomas says the city should sue the state and force them to show the science behind the act, which would come out in the discovery process.
I think that's the only way we're going to get this thing through and get it done, because they're just going to keep taking the money, and that's all it is. It's just a big money grab. It has nothing to do with the trees.
Chair Vasconcelos thanked town staff for an efficient meeting and closed it out with his own comments.
To put a financial burden on a low-income community as it is, for them to be able to take care of anything is it's really sad. I hope that something does come out of it, because this could be definitely something that could kill communities.
The next Yucca Valley Planning Commission takes place on Tuesday, October 28th. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
The Morongo Unified School District Board of Trustees met in regular session last night. Reporter Gabriel Hart was in attendance and joins us with this recap.
Classified Staff Representative Mary Dean reported struggles with staff concerning recent insurance cuts. Dean said, quote, "People are scared and worried that they won't be able to afford health coverage or pay their bills," unquote, and called on the board for thoughtful collaborative action in next week's negotiations. Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Education Dr. Gracie Gutierrez gave updates on Prop 28, which provides $1.3 million in state funding to expand arts and music in schools, with 80% allotted for staff and 20% for materials and training. The downside is the funding would be given in January, an inconvenient time for planning and hiring in the middle of the school year. ELOP Program Specialist Sally Stevens gave an update on the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program, reporting that 447 students are enrolled at 11 active sites, with 360 students still on wait list for the program, with more staff needed. During public comment, Chelsea Hagler represented an organized group of parents calling for more oversight and transparency in the $191,000 contract MUSD is about to enter with Schoolworks Incorporated to provide consulting services in support of structural deficit reduction planning. While the consulting group has hypothetically used a potential scenario of closing 4 schools, including Friendly Hills, the board once again assured parents and staff that nothing would be put in place without public feedback and town halls. President Christopher Clare said,
"Our plan is for as many of us as possible to be at all 4 of those meetings and to support and to listen to your feedback. None of these, I went to these schools. I graduated a long time ago. My mother graduated from these schools. I am really, really entrenched, and all these decisions are really hard on all of us. So I don't want you to take or feel like we're not taking this lightly. But it's whatever we can do to kind of quell the rumor mill, just try to deal with the facts. And if you have questions, ask your board members, ask your district office. But we do plan to have really, really good information out there so that you guys are not in the dark as to why these decisions are made."
Area 5 Trustee Roberta Myers added,
"I just want to assure you that we are committed to complete transparency. As we've talked to Schoolworks, we've made that completely clear, that we want to hear from the public, we want to hear from you as much as you want to tell us."
The board then voted 5-0 to approve, quote, "developing a comprehensive plan for structural deficit reduction," unquote. Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Gabriel Hart.
The Bighorn Desert View Water Agency met in regular session yesterday. Annalise Kuiper brings us the details.
The meeting began with a closed session to discuss the Fifth Amendment, which would give the Board of Directors more time to consider succession planning options regarding the extension of employment of General Manager Marina West until February 1st, 2026. In addition, a performance-based merit increase of approximately 7% would be added to the General Manager's salary. The motion passed unanimously. The motion to pass the resolution to adopt an increased basic facilities charge for water meters from 3/4 of an inch to 10 inches passed unanimously. The current buy-in charge would be increased by 3.289% or by roughly $500. The current charge for the service line installation fee for water meter size ranges from 3/4 of an inch to 10 inches is $2,685. This will increase to $3,040 to cover the increased cost of parts and labor. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Annalise Kuiper.
The Morongo Valley Community Services District Board of Directors' regular meeting scheduled for tonight has been moved to next Wednesday, October 22nd, on account of preparation for this weekend's Halloween extravaganza in Covington Park, where organizers will be transforming the community center into a haunted house. The Twentynine Palms Business Improvement District Board of Directors meets in regular session tomorrow. On their agenda is an introduction and personal reflection from each director on successes and challenges for the T-Bid. They will also consider appointing 3 members to an event grant review committee, select 2 members to serve on a committee to alter the district's definition, and renew an advertising contract with Z107.7. The Twentynine Palms Business Improvement District Board meets in regular session tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. at Twentynine Palms City Hall. And finally, the Flamingo Heights Community Center continues their Flamingo Family Film Club with a screening of 2 episodes of Pee-wee's Playhouse. The iconic 90s children's program features Paul Rubens as Pee-wee Herman and a slew of puppets and celebrity guest stars. Feel free to bring your favorite movie, drinks, and snacks for this event that runs from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Flamingo Heights Community Center, located at 55977 Paris Street in Flamingo Heights. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.